What's up, everybody? This is Dolph Ziggler, and you are listening to Markin Out. This is Markin Out.
Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans, we marking out, y'all.
Follow on Twitter.
Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans, we marking out, y'all.
Marking Out.
Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans, we marking out, y'all.
Brennan likes fisting.
Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans, we marking out, y'all.
You're marking out.
Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans.
Welcome to Markin Out, Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. This is episode 772. Make sure that you are subscribed and downloading on all platforms where you are getting your podcast needs, such as on Spotify. Go buy a t-shirt over at prowrestlingtees.com/markinout. Give us a like over on Facebook. Also, follow us on TikTok at Markin Out, on Twitter at Markin Out, and on Instagram at Markin Out 11. And also make sure you check me out at David PT DPT. That is right, it's Dave the Rave. And you can follow Chris at Chris Sweendog over on Twitter and CM Sweeney85 on Instagram. And also make sure that you're following Brandon at BTTG161. That is uno seis uno. But that being said, Brandon, how are you?
I am doing awesome as always-ish. Again, obviously you hear I'm a bit congested. As per...
Yes, that must mean that you just got back from a vacation.
Yep, flew down to Florida last Wednesday. Went to Boma for dinner that night. I don't think I had been there in a while. And I think that's one of the best restaurants on Disney property. So if you've never been to Boma and you're in the area, I would say 100% go. Yeah, I had
Which one is Boma?
a lot. It's the Animal Kingdom Lodge. It's a buffet. There is peanuts and tree nuts on the menu. So if you're
I don't know if I...
not good with that, then I would say avoid that.
I would still go there.
But you go anywhere with nuts as is. My brother is a lot.
Yeah, you know,
more cautious.
You know that I would go there.
But yeah, I would highly recommend it. It is an African buffet. You have food from all over Africa. So I would 100%. And plus, beforehand, you could go look at the animals. You can go afterwards as well. It's just more difficult to see them at night. On Thursday, I went to Animal Kingdom, and I went to the Zootopia Better Zoogether attraction that they now have. It literally just opened last week, and I was expecting maybe there'd be like these long, crazy lines, because the first day was like a long, crazy line. It was a walk-on. It wasn't like that. There wasn't a wait at all. This is a 4D show inside the Tree of Life, which replaced It's Tough to Be a Bug. I would say that I enjoyed It's Tough to Be a Bug so much more because I couldn't care less about Zootopia. But
okay,
I think, like, also the attraction itself, It's Tough to Be a Bug. It felt more like an experience. This felt more like I was watching a 3D movie rather than a show. So it's a bit dizzying for me to watch. But the 3D, some of the 3D that they had in this was like the best 3D that I've ever seen on a Disney property. To the point where some of that 3D, I had to take my glasses off. I thought they were animatronics at one point. I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know if anyone else had that experience. Everyone in the theater seemed to have enjoyed the show. The gag stuff that they reused from It's Tough to Be a Bug, I thought was used really well. And a lot of people were like, this doesn't fit the show, blah, blah, blah. I completely disagree with that.
What do you mean the gag stuff? Like, what would that entail?
For instance, in It's Tough to Be a Bug, at the end, they were like, oh, please, for the humans, let the bugs leave first or whatever. And then the bench would move, and you would feel like pokes and stuff, like as if bugs were moving. Here, it's in the middle of the show. There are mice running, and you feel it under your seat. It just works perfectly.
And wait, which show was this again?
Zootopia.
Zootopia.
Yeah, Better Zootopia.
Okay. All right.
It's not a show that I need to see over and over again. I thought it was fine, and it just it didn't suck like so many people online said.
I don't know. I feel like people are just very critical at times. And sometimes it's just for no reason.
Partially, I get it. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't make sense that it's there. You're inside a tree. You're wearing carrot vision glasses, so I like it. Kind of makes sense, but like at the same time, like it's tough to be a bug worked in. You're wearing bug eyes, so like you're getting to see the vision of a bug. Here, what are you seeing? You're seeing a bunch of animals walking, talking, wearing suits, singing. So I get the outrage, but I also don't think it was bad. So I also went to Dinosaur to say good riddance to Dinosaur. I don't like that ride, but I figured since it's closing, why not go on it one more time, get my picture. It's closing in February. I assume I'll never ride it again. It's getting replaced by Indiana Jones, which is also a property that I couldn't care less about, but I'll go on that one time. I also went to Restaurantosaurus, which is also closing in February. And I really liked going there before COVID because they were one of the only restaurants in Disney World that had a free toppings bar. And they had like lettuce, onions, tomatoes, pickles, sauteed onions, peppers. I think they even had guacamole, all for free, which is crazy because most of that stuff, I feel like, not most of it, but a lot of that is not stuff you would typically see getting free. But after COVID...
Especially something like guac.
Yeah, and then COVID came. I think they also had like a vegan chili on that bar as well, but COVID took it all away, so it was unfortunate. Pecos Bill had another free topping station with like corn, onions, lettuce basically, but you could get like a burger or something there or chicken tenders and then make yourself a salad. They also had dressing up there as well. So, but I went there. I got the waffle cone coated chicken tenders that came in a waffle cone dish, which I thought they were decent. Not something I need to, like, go back there for. But I thought it was good. I also got a lemonade drink that was mixed with pomegranate, cranberry, apple juice. It had apple boba. It was good, but I feel like I think it must have been the pomegranate or cranberry that was just, like, super overpowering. But I enjoyed that, and then I went on the safari for like 2 hours. I just kept going because there was like no waits. This was like a perfect time to go to Disney.
Well, yeah, there's nothing really happening. I mean, it's right before Thanksgiving too, so I think that's perfect for you.
And the weather.
You're gonna have to give me some recommendations for when I go to Disney.
Can't possibly give
next
you
February.
I can't possibly. Oh, in February. I thought you were asking for Disneyland. I was like, I can't.
Actually,
possibly,
yeah, I'm asking. Yeah,
I can't give you any recommendations for Disneyland. I've never been there.
Oh, dude, I know you have your ways. You have all the platforms and stuff. You have your followers.
Yeah. But Saturday I went to Hollywood Studios. I saw that they removed the arch. I saw that in person, I should say. I checked out Walt Disney Presents to see their holiday exhibit, which features costumes and props from the Muppet Christmas Carol. They have the Santa Claus, Babes in Toyland, which the original movie, not the one from.
What did they have from Babes in Toyland?
Well, like what year was that? 1950 something, 60 something?
No, earlier,
30 something.
Babes in Toyland was like I think 1920s, 1930s.
So they had props from the movie.
Really? That's so cool.
Yeah.
I would totally mark for that.
Like the little
I gotta look,
wooden soldiers. I think they were.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so cool. I'm going to have to look this up. So I was a huge mark for that movie as a kid. And even now, if it's ever on TV, usually during like Christmas time, if I'm flipping through the channels and I see that on, I'll usually stop on it for a few moments. It's just pure nostalgia for me. I grew up on that back in the 1920s, you know?
Yeah, so they had that, and they also had, from the 2019 Anna Kendrick Disney Plus movie, Noelle. And then they were showing 3 winter shorts on loop from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. So I think that was pretty cool. I also saw the new Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After stage show. That opened in May. I still have hopes that once Villains Land in Magic Kingdom opens, and the Muppets move to Rock and Roller Coaster, that maybe that'll get turned into Muppet Vision 3D. Maybe.
Yeah, they have to have some involvement.
But this show, I thought, was pretty good. It's absolutely nothing that I would need to see again. Apparently it changes every single time, but it was good enough to where I could see it not going away.
Mm-hmm.
I also headed to the Grand Floridian to see the new bar over there that they unfortunately changed the whole lobby. I think for 24 years in a row, 25 years in a row, they had a life-size gingerbread house that they'd sell cookies and cake and ornaments out of. This year they did not do it. I guess to shift focus onto that new bar. Maybe they'll bring it back next year. To me, the lobby's kind of uninviting now. I don't need to sit near a bar like that. It's just,
Yeah.
Went to
I can understand that.
Went to Magic Kingdom to see Carousel of Progress maybe one last time before they add the Walt Disney scene to it. I'm not 100% sure when that closes. Also, the very first scene, the guy John's neck was showing. So afterwards, I went to a cast member. I was like, I feel like you guys probably already know this already, but his neck is showing. Like the robot portion of it.
Like you could that's see it. Huge.
And they were like, yeah, we're working on that. So I figured I'd have to tell them. And then I went on It's a Small World to hear the new last verse that was added after Richard Sherman passed away. That's not a ride I typically go on. So I went.
I feel like some of those nostalgia rides they can kind of like eliminate soon.
I don't think that is a ride that'll go anywhere. Nor do I think it should.
Yeah, there's a few of them I would totally get rid of, especially that Carousel of Progress.
Yeah, right. It's changing. It's not going to be the same Carousel of Progress that you might have fallen asleep on.
Yes, if you're tired, they have perfect AC going in there.
I don't think they have. They don't have AC.
The lights.
They don't have AC in there. It gets quite hot to me there.
Really? I was cool when I went.
I don't think so.
It was relaxing. I was zoning out.
Maybe they'll update the pro wrestling scene to make it actually fit for the 40s.
They should include John Cena.
Yeah, right. In the 40s.
You should tweet to them. You should be like, hey, FYI, you should be including John Cena.
It's the 40s though. If anything, if John Cena's gonna be included in anything, it would be the what is it? The American Adventure in Epcot. Which I fully stand on firm stance that Taylor Swift needs to be added to that. I feel like she has very much so significantly impacted American culture.
I don't know if I know that right.
It's an attraction. You go into a giant theater. They go through the history of America with animatronics and stuff. The songs are very, very awesome. I enjoy the songs. It's as told by Mark Twain and I want to say Theodore Roosevelt. If I'm not mistaken, maybe Lincoln's in there. I'm kind of blanking. I forgot to go on the new test track. I completely forgot that it changed, so I didn't go on that.
Isn't that like a big thing to go on?
It's not like a ride that I need to ever go on, but it literally just updated a few months ago, so ideally I would have gone on it, but I forgot that they updated it. Ratatouille had closed down while I was there and then reopened it's now 2D instead of 3D. And I forgot to go on that as well. Or I shouldn't say I forgot. I just didn't have time to.
Ratatouille, they took away the 3D aspect?
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how they added more props to it to make it like, I guess, the perspective and everything to change it.
Okay.
So I don't know how
that ride was a lot of fun.
Apparently, it's already been 2D in France, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to wait to see how it is.
I don't know. That Ratatouille, I was very surprised with. I didn't expect it to be what it was, and that was a lot of fun.
I just don't like 3D, so I'm more okay with them taking it away.
I'm with you too because I wear glasses, so it's difficult.
I also went to Disney Springs to get the brown butter Rice Krispie treat from Summer House. If you've never been to Summer House, they have a few locations around the United States. I would 100% highly suggest getting that. I sent it to a group chat, and my friend was like, "Oh, yours are better." I was like, "How dare you?" I was like, I aspire to have my Rice Krispie treats be this because they're just so good. I also ate at House of Blues. I've never eaten there before. It was okay.
House of Blues. I've eaten there before.
And then but I mean, where have you eaten there? Where have you eaten at a House of Blues?
I forgot. Not in Orlando.
And then before flying home, I went that morning on Mickey Mouse's birthday. I feel like it wasn't a huge deal that it was his birthday. Technically, Minnie Mouse's as well. And Pete. But I went to Magic Kingdom, grabbed the holiday popcorn, the holiday cookie popcorn, and then the holiday peppermint popcorn. So those were both good. I was not sure if they were going to be bringing back the holiday cookie from last year. And then the holiday peppermint one is a brand new one. I liked the one from last year more because it had crushed up candy cane in it.
Ooh, that sounds good.
This one has red and green popcorn that's supposedly flavored mint, but I don't taste that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get the popcorns without the marshmallows because I don't need marshmallows. I feel like that's a waste. You can get just more M&Ms. I feel like that adds so much more to it. I also got a real candy apple. If you remember my fiasco a few weeks ago, I went to get a candy apple, and it was a dyed red caramel apple instead.
Ah, boo.
Yeah.
Artificial flavoring.
Well, this was also artificial flavoring. What do you mean? It had the red dyed number 2 gimmick, I'm sure. It had a cherry flavoring to it.
No.
And it came with Lifesavers, gummy Lifesavers on the stick. I'm not quite sure why that. I don't know. I didn't really get that concept of it, but it was good. Now I know after decades of never having a candy apple, or not having a candy apple in decades, I should say. I don't need another one forever, probably. So.
Well, there you have it.
But yeah, that's my trip to Walt Disney World. I'll put a pin in that and talk more about it later. But how was your week?
Nothing compared to your week. My week was very good. Very good. Kept busy and relaxed. Took it easy while staying busy.
Well,
but was definitely looking forward to SmackDown and Monday Night Raw. So let's get on to talking about some SmackDown from this past week. Kicking off with Jey Uso picking up the victory over The Miz to advance in the tournament. I don't know. It would have been nice to see The Miz advance.
I almost feel like they're giving us Jey versus Gunther in the finals. Not to jump ahead to Monday Night Raw, but I kind of feel like that's
the thing. I agree. It would have been nice to see a solid heel besides Gunther in there. I mean, The Miz would have been great.
I would have really liked to have seen The Miz advance. We also had later on LA Knight picked up the victory over Zack Ryder.
That's right. Not even Matt Cardona. No, this was Zack Ryder.
Theme
song, incredible.
Which people
Good to
were
hear
like,
it
he
again.
got def rambled. It's like, how dare you disrespect Downstate like that?
Yeah, don't put that onto Downstate.
I watched this from while I was on Spaceship Earth.
That's funny.
Terrible ride etiquette, but I was looking. I just happened to go on Twitter and I saw that the match was coming up, and I was like, well, I'll check it out to see who it is, because part of me thought it was going to be Joe Hendry. There are, I don't know if they're rumors or what, but apparently he's signed to WWE now.
Yeah, I mean, he was a huge expected person to be in this tournament. I guess it's confirmed that he's there. I mean, he has T-shirts on shop now.
But so does Zack Ryder.
Well, the difference
Zack Ryder
is
has 3 T-shirts, by the way.
Yeah, but the big difference is that on Zack Ryder, and not spoiler, we'll talk about it, but Ziggler, is that those are event, like, quote-unquote, event specific.
You know what? A lot of those WWE
Henry
T-shirts say event specific. It's garbage. I think they do it so you can't use any discount codes. I find that a lot of the shirts on WWE Shop these days don't work with discount codes. And that's super carny. That's annoying as hell to me.
That's lame.
Also on SmackDown, you had Open Challenge. I believe Dragunov picked up the victory over Axiom to retain. You had Jade Cargill tear through BFAB. And then the main event saw Cody Rhodes pick up the victory. Oh, I said pick up, weird. Over Bronson Reed via disqualification. The title was on the line. Logan Paul showed up. The Usos came out. Drew McIntyre, despite being suspended, showed up, got involved, joins the Vision for War Games, joins Logan Paul for War Games. A lot of people were pissed off at that ending. And it's like, why would they interrupt if this is you could have the title, blah, blah, blah. We saw a few weeks ago, Paul Heyman laid it out. Listen to me, you're going to win the championship. Mm-hmm. All part of the plan. We have to, storyline-wise, you might not think it makes sense. Paul Heyman said what he said, so it has to make sense to you. You don't get to pick and choose. That was given to us in a story. So, moving over to Monday Night Raw, kicked off Madison Square Garden. I was in Orlando, all the way away from Madison Square Garden. Not that I could have afforded a freaking ticket to Monday Night Raw, the cheapest ticket being what, like an arm?
I know. I was looking at the same day, and it was like $400, I think.
I saw somebody go to the box office, and it was like $1,700. Which is crazy.
Jeez.
They had, by the way, speaking of 17, they had over 17,000 people at Madison Square Garden for this. John Cena comes out, talked about how important it is that this was his last Monday Night Raw, last time at Madison Square Garden. And then Dominic Mysterio interrupted. And he said John Cena was handed that title shot last week. Just like everything else that he's been handed. And Dom wants a rematch. John Cena said, I don't back down, but I have to ask the crowd, do you want to see this match? They obviously cheer. Some were like mixed on it. And then Dominic said, no. You had your hometown advantage. I want my hometown advantage. I want it at Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
John Cena agreed, and then he issued a challenge for one-on-one without the title on the line. Just him versus Dom, Monday Night Raw. Let's make history in Madison Square Garden. You had the rest of the Judgment Day, Finn Balor, JD McDonough jump him. Sheamus made the save. He gets put down. And then Rey Mysterio. Out of action for months. In ring gear.
No way. It's been months?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So he makes he was out since WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So they brawled, and it sets up a 6-man tag match. John Cena, Sheamus, Rey Mysterio pick up the victory over the Judgment Day. Not the match that I would have done But I think it was nice to see.
But it makes sense.
It was nice to see Finn Balor and JD McDonough also get matches with John Cena. A lot of people were like, how dare they waste 3 matches on Dominic Mysterio? They have faith in Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, plus all the matches that they've been doing, they make sense. And honestly, I feel like at the end of the day, John Cena is the one picking these matches.
Even though he says, no, I'm not. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. If John Cena wanted to veto any of these matches against Dirty Dom, he definitely would be able to.
But this was, I think, what you could have expected from a match like this. I liked all of them doing the 10 beats of the Bodron together. I liked all 3 of them doing the 5-knuckle shuffle where Sheamus was in the middle and then moved John Cena over to the middle to give him that spotlight front and center. Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, I thought that was I thought that was a great awareness of Sheamus during that.
I feel like that had to have been. I who knows? Maybe it wasn't set up. I don't know.
What, you think that was intentional?
I don't know. It just felt like it could have been. Just to give like a pop spot.
But I don't know. I don't know. The way that it happened, I don't know if it would necessarily be a planned pop spot.
I don't know. I popped.
I don't know.
It's a good spot. Rey Mysterio hit the 619.
Well, there you have it. Well, who am I to say otherwise? It was a pop spot then.
I mean, it was to me. I don't know, but
yeah,
Rey hit the.
Hey, it's a spot and you pop.
Rey hit the 619 on Balor and JD at the same time. John Cena hit the attitude adjustment on JD McDonough, gets the victory. After the match, quite controversial in New York, at least. I don't know if it was all over. Dominic Mysterio ends up pushing comedian Andrew Schultz down. The New York Giants, what were they, rookies?
Yeah, they were rookies, and Scat, he had his ankle surgery from a dislocation and fracture, and he was just showing off on his feed, on his, what is it, the live streaming that he does now. He was showing his range of motion that he's improving, but he's still non-weight bearing. And I mean, every time you see him, he's on a scooter and stuff like that, and he's rehabbing from surgery, I believe, from just last month.
So he pushed JD McDonough down, and then they all brawled.
Yeah, and he was like legit, like he got pushed and stuff like that. If I was the owner of the Giants, I would be like, I'd be so paranoid. I'd be like, but hey, it was good. I don't know if I would have done it during a commercial break, though.
Yeah, but I guess time is time. But although they showed it, I don't know. Maybe they cut it down, perhaps.
No, it wasn't on the live. I mean, it was during the commercial break.
Yeah, but they did show it on...
Oh, no, it was at the end of the... Yeah, during the commercial break, but after the match. I feel like it should have been maybe during the match a little bit.
He got 3 WWE Shop shirts out of it. Cam Scataboo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he went on the defensive about it and said, like, let me have my fun while I'm rehabbing or whatever. Mm-hmm. A lot of Giants fans were upset about that spot. Which, I mean, rightfully so, kind of. Like, if they're investing money and stuff into you, that's a crazy thing to be part of while rehabbing.
It totally is, but you know what? Hey, he's living his best life ever right now.
After that, Stephanie Vaquer came out. She was interviewed, and Nikki Bella ends up attacking her from behind. She said she's back to take the division, and she's getting a match at Survivor Series. That was that. It sets up literally a match for the championship at Survivor Series. I can't see Vaquer losing. Unless we get
I feel like
an appearance from Brie Bella and that happens. I don't know.
I feel like she's going to somehow face off against Brie Bella, but she's going to defeat Brie Bella. I can't see her losing it right now.
Yeah, I can't either.
But next up, they had the next match in the Last Time Is Now tournament. Solo Sikoa taking on a mystery opponent. And this mystery opponent ended up being Dolph Ziggler. Not Nick Nemeth, but Ziggler, the Zigzag himself, the Zig Man, whatever you want to call him. He returned to Monday Night Raw, and the crowd, they went wild.
It's only been 2.5 years since we've seen him, as opposed to Ryder, who was 5 years, maybe over 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Matt Cardona was involved in the NXT TNA stuff. Nick Nemeth was not. Not on the NXT side, at least.
Really?
Yeah, we hadn't seen. There was no Nick Nemeth on NXT or anything.
That's weird.
Yeah, so
That's very weird.
I liked this match. I liked Ziggler using the STF. We had basically what I would say is the best of Dolph Ziggler in this match.
Yeah, Ziggler just showed off exactly what he does best, and he made Solo Sikoa look like an all-star main eventer. I mean, Ziggler is always known for his ability to sell.
I mean, that one spot, the biggest highlight of this match was when Ziggler got sent into the corner. That was insane.
Yeah, he just ate that turnbuckle, and it kind of reminded me very much of when, like, I think Bret Hart used to eat the turnbuckle. You know, just go kind of like chest first into it, very solid, and then kind of fall back with it. But the way that he ate that, and then the entire match, he kept on selling so well. But even there was that moment where he hit the zigzag, and you thought for a second that he could have actually put him away.
Yeah, they made it look like he was moving on multiple times, but I think you had to know he wasn't.
I didn't. I honestly, I was hopeful that. I mean,
come on,
like you said. I mean, you kind of expected Solo, but I couldn't help but feel a little bit of hope that we were going to get a surprise advancement, like Ziggler advancing. And I think that that's the great thing about professional wrestling is when sometimes you can have that expectation, but then there's still that very, very small glimpse of hope that maybe they're actually going to
We'll talk about it in a second for me. I had my fingers crossed big time.
But, I mean, once he went for the zigzag for that second time, where you have that typical spot where the opponent grabs onto the ropes and you see Ziggler always goes for that spot, and it's one of those spots that you're like, it just never hits. It's like the Seth Rollins, Seth Rollins from the top rope spot, where he just always does it and rolls through because the guy rolls out of the way. This spot, Ziggler, the opponent, is always on the ropes, and he goes for the zigzag, and guess what? They're still holding onto the ropes, and then Ziggler does his tumble backwards, and then Samoan spike.
And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think there was any outside interference.
No, there was which I was actually very surprised that there was no outside interference, no nothing. They did show Solo Sikoa's team members on the ringside, but yeah, nothing.
Yeah, and then later on for the tournament, we saw Gunther make his return to the ring, pick up the victory over Javon Evans. He advanced. Gunther,
and of course Javon Evans won this one. No,
I mean,
not at all. This one you had to have known that Gunther was advancing. Unlike with Solo, there was no glimpse of hope for Javon Evans beating Gunther.
Storyline wise, TV wise, no, but Javon, I think this was a great showing for him.
I agree.
And it wasn't a one-sided match. It wasn't one-sided.
No, I think that Gunther is very talented in that aspect, where Gunther is usually somebody that big isn't really a huge person at selling, kind of like in the way that Ziggler is or anything like that. But Gunther, there's something about him that he is such a great storyteller in the ring. And everything that he was doing with Javon Evans was incredible. There was moments where he got outbeat and out-hustled by Javon Evans.
Yeah.
You know, there was those moments where Javon was actually chopping Gunther. And you knew at one point, like there was those few moments where Gunther just full wind-up trying to full wind-up chop Evans, and Evans would evade him. this was a lot of fun.
Gunther, by the way, has his old theme song back. And I don't know if it was... if it's bait or not, but there seems to be some AEW fans who think he stole Mercedes' theme song, and I really don't know if they're joking or not. I can't even give them the benefit of doubt. I feel like they don't know. I don't know.
No.
But I liked Gunther chopping Javon Evans midair. I thought that was awesome. He kicked out after the powerbomb. Good on Javon for that. That makes Javon look great. He eventually lost to that sleeper hold.
Yeah, that's the
though.
thing. What's that?
He eventually lost to the sleeper hold.
Yeah, I thought that was just incredible. That power bomb. Like, I am such a freaking mark for power bomb spots, and that power bomb definitely did not disappoint. That was just incredible powerbomb spot, and I was so surprised when he kicked out of that.
Earlier in the night, we saw,
like you said,
we saw Bayley and the Kabuki Warriors backstage. Asuka tried to recruit Bayley for War Games, and she turned them down. Lyra showed up. She was proud of Bayley. Bayley wanted nothing of that. So we are getting that other side of Bayley still. There's like a pause in that, but it's back. So we'll see where that leads to.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting to see Kabuki Warriors kind of like try to play her up a little bit, and then Bayley just full-blown not buying into it. You know? But
and then
next up, you had Alexa Bliss hit the ring, and what does she do? She gets right on that mic, and she starts calling out Charlotte Flair.
I don't know if I would say calling her out. She was just saying that she was ignored all weekend by Charlotte.
Dude, she totally called her out. I mean,
she did. She looked directly in the camera. Something that we didn't speak about with SmackDown was that Charlotte wanted literally nothing to do with Rhea Ripley. She wanted nothing to do with that War Games team. Rightfully so from Charlotte, though. So, like, at least the history there between the two of them is not forgotten about. But the heels in this segment on Monday Night Raw came down. They surrounded Alexa Bliss. Rio ran down. They all end up brawling. And then Charlotte finally ran down with a kendo stick, her old pal Ken. But
hold on. There was a huge delay there, though. There was that moment where Alexa Bliss was getting beaten by Lash Legend and Nia Jax. And there was that moment where Lash, I forgot what it was. I think it was, she punched her. So she did that roaring punch right through Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is on the ground. And then it wasn't until after that finish, then who comes down? Now it goes into Charlotte Flair coming down with that kendo stick. And I was just like, dude, she couldn't get down there sooner. Like, their beatdown was a good solid 30 seconds.
I mean, to be fair, we don't know where Charlotte was.
Dude, she's heel turning. She was not there for her friend.
I don't think so. I don't think that's a heel turn at all.
It's not a heel turn, of course, but
I don't even think it's shades of a heel turn. I really don't think that's shades of a heel turn. She's now, because Alexa Bliss called her friend, she eventually runs down to save Alexa Bliss, willing to work with Rhea Ripley. Because of her friend Alexa Bliss. You're wrong. Oh,
no.
Way.
I think that is playing off shades.
Wrong.
Playing off shades. She didn't get down there sooner.
Dude, if
you were getting beaten down by Nia Jax and Lash Legend.
She didn't stop to do a Jeff Hardy pose or anything. She didn't have pyro to come out. She got there with Ken.
But she was late, dude. If you were in the ring getting beaten down by Nia Jax and Lash Legend, I'm gonna go down there so fast.
Doubt it.
You know, especially for you.
You don't know where she was. Maybe she had to look for the kendo stick.
Charlotte,
you're wrong.
Hey. Well, for you, I would have ran down there faster. But something that I did pop at was Charlotte Flair breaking character.
Did she?
Did you see that one? Where you had Alexa Bliss kind of being held by Charlotte Flair, staring down Rhea Ripley and Io, and just so hilarious. Io looks at Charlotte and just goes and grabs Rhea Ripley as well, like full-fledged hugging. And you can see Charlotte actually like start laughing. I thought that was funny.
I didn't notice that. I did notice
funny.
we didn't speak about it earlier with the opening match where Pete Davidson was front row marking out that he caught Sheamus' shirt. I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's true. Next up, you had Maxine Dupree pick up the victory over Becky Lynch to become your new Intercontinental Champion. This is Maxine's first singles championship.
First
in the WWE.
singles championship or just first championship?
First championship. First championship. And this was just, what a moment.
Made history, by the way.
Moment.
She's now the third longest reigning Intercontinental Champion.
Already.
But Jessica Carr was the referee in this match. That's the referee that Becky Lynch has been talking trash about. She's been arguing with her. And what a surprise, she argued with her during the match.
Mm-hmm.
They had Maxine reverse the armbar. She reversed the manhandle slam. Locked Becky Lynch in that ankle lock. Even pulls her away from the ropes. And it's like, well, okay, I could assume maybe they're giving her so much here that she's not going to get the victory here. Becky Lynch turned that ankle lock into a pin, so Maxine had to let it go. She did hit the manhandle slam. But Becky Lynch, I guess that's a rookie mistake for her. Maxine's leg was able to get to the rope. And then Becky Lynch, of course, gets into the referee's face again. For that specifically, she ends up pushing her. And Becky Lynch went to remove the turnbuckle pad. AJ Lee returned. And with that distraction, Maxine got up on the top rope. She hit a diving crossbody, gets the 1, 2, 3. Brand new Intercontinental Champion. My fingers, like I said before, my fingers were very crossed for this to see a new champion.
Same here. And it's very nice to see the reaction backstage of...
First of all, it was very nice to see the reaction at Madison Square Garden for Maxine.
Yes, but then American Alpha... Seeing them backstage just... Markin Out back in Gorilla for Maxine. And just especially after hearing her interview on CVV, it's just awesome to see her pick up this victory, especially over Becky Lynch, and everything that they're doing with Becky and Adam Pearce continuing this entire storyline is hilarious.
I mean, she's going off the deep end on Twitter about it.
She is. I mean, she's calling out that AJ doesn't even have a manager's license.
But she was not ringside. AJ Lee was not ringside. She was technically still on that entrance ramp, that entrance walkway.
Yeah. Yeah, she didn't do anything.
Yeah. But later on, Rhea Ripley asked AJ to talk. But we'll put a pin in that.
Mm-hmm.
And then to close out Monday Night Raw, we had a War Games face-off where the Vision came out first, and Paul Heyman hyped up all the teams that he's walked into the ring for War Games, and I thought that was awesome to hear. And he said that this is the best team that's ever been assembled for this match. And then CM Punk...
I totally marked out for every team that he was listing.
Yeah, I thought that was really awesome that they included that. But CM Punk came out, had a full entrance. Then the Usos came out, of course, to Jey Uso's theme song, and not the freaking Usos theme song. What are they doing? Why are we not getting the Usos theme song? Why is that happening? It makes no sense. It really makes no sense. And then Cody Rhodes came out. They all brawled. Brock Lesnar showed up. That sucked. Crowd pop big time. I'm over Brock Lesnar. And then Roman Reigns came out. Also sucked. He said he didn't want to see the Usos until Christmas. Thanksgiving didn't even happen yet. I don't need to see Brock and Roman in a War Games.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's the thing. I don't know who else you would have instead of Brock. If Brock and Roman weren't there, I don't know who else you would have. But I also, on the other hand, don't think you necessarily need another 2 people there. Like, if it was just what it was already, I would have been fine if they didn't include another 2 people into the mix.
Honestly, yeah. I went from not wanting to see a men's War Game match with what they were giving us, with what they were teasing, I should say, to being really excited for this War Games match. And now I'm like, I don't need to see this. The women's War Games match is what I want to see. I don't want to see this match.
I guess the big thing is I feel like the inclusion of Roman is important because of Jimmy and Jay, because I feel like Jimmy, you still have that.
It's not. He said he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to see them until Christmas.
That's true. He did say that. It's not Christmas.
So
not Christmas.
We need to see that.
So pretty much Roman Reigns is a liar.
I mean, technically.
He's a liar.
And then the NYPD tried to break up the fight. An officer went through the barricade. They showed off his body cam footage of that spot. I thought that was pretty funny that they did that.
Yeah, that was cool. Dude, I know you hate that spot.
In that instance, I thought it was fine because it was an NYPD officer, in quotes, not an actual. It was a unique version of that, I should say.
I think they even took out 2 NYPDs during that process. I think there was 2 on the ground.
I think Cody was beating officers down too.
Yeah, he was hitting them with the kendo sticks and stuff.
Which that's kind of a crazy. Kind of a crazy thing to do, to show on TV.
Yeah, I thought that this was just a lot of. This was huge mayhem, but it was a lot of fun to see this breaking down.
It felt like a go home Monday Night Raw. As opposed to, hey, we have another week. Or 2.
That's weird. That's very weird. Yeah. I actually, for some reason, I thought that that was the go-home for Survivor Series. That's weird that you bring that up because I knew that it was next week, but when I was watching it, I thought that was leading into this week. Yeah. Where do you go from there next week? You can't.
Absolutely. Maybe they'll do one of those stupid things. They're all in jail cells talking to one another or through the window like they did Darby Allin. Its spot still made no sense to me.
Like 100%. I feel like the placing of this brawl, you are 100% that should have been next week. Because next week, Monday Night Raw, how are you... Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe you're going to have something with the women close out Monday Night Raw.
It's possible, but also I feel like the NYPD.
I feel like that's
if they're going to do a spot like that, I feel like the NYPD is like a famous police force. So maybe they wanted like instead of like a no-name police force or something.
Maybe. But honestly, I think that now because you have that, I don't think that you can top what they did on Monday Night Raw to close out a Monday Night Raw going into a pay-per-view. Like, sometimes they have flops. To me, this face-off was not a flop at all.
No, I think was next week outside of me really not wanting to see or needing to see Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns. I thought that was very well done.
I agree. I think that next week, the only reason you would do it that week is because the women are going to do something very special next Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, and it'd be great, especially to not have it be done on the same exact episode.
Exactly. So that has to be the only explanation.
So that was Monday Night.
I don't think you're going to have Roman Reigns and Brock appear on Monday Night Raw either, or at least definitely not Brock. Maybe Roman with the Usos and Cody, but
moving over to NXT.
Moving on to
Gold Rush, Madison Square Garden. Also missed it. Flew home, got home just in time. By the way, when I was flying home, I got to see the lights. You know how Jones Beach does the Christmas lights?
Yeah, don't waste your money. Don't
waste your money there. But I got to see it for free above, so I thought that was pretty cool to see from the sky.
Yeah, there you go. That's nice. You saw it for free. Go see it on YouTube if you're.
I did go there one year, by the way. Actually, I went there.
Yeah, I did twice. It too. It's overhyped. use that money. Go to prowrestlingtees.com/markingout. Buy a t-shirt.
NXT live at the Theater of Madison Square Garden. Chelsea Green, Ethan Page defending their championship successfully over Joe Hendry and Thea Hale to retain. The crowd was split, and the match was pretty even. I thought this was very well done. Ethan Page at one point broke up a pin, and Thea Hale ended up kicking him. And then she kicked Alba Fire. She reversed the Unpretty Heart with the Kimura. And they made it look like possibly we could have new champions. Joe Hendry went for that standing ovation on Ethan Page. That Ethan Page ends up pushing him and breaks up the submission. I'm really tired of spots like that. This was a good version of that spot.
I thought that I agree with you. I think that spot was incredible. I think
AEW literally did it twice in one match this week.
True.
If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I always do like that spot, but I thought that the way that they did it, especially because it's intergender, that I popped even more for it. But something I did not like from that breaking up the spot is that I believe this was the spot where it went into the win, right?
Yeah, Chelsea hit the Unpretty.
That was the close of the match. Yeah. So Chelsea goes into the Unprettier, but the thing I really didn't... We love Chelsea. She wasn't selling the arm bar. Like, she went right into the Unprettier, but there was no selling of the arm at all, especially because she was... I would say.
Is that any
it's still
arm
involving
submission
the
and
arm.
armbar? I don't know.
I mean, maybe.
I didn't notice
yeah.
her not selling it though.
Yeah, I didn't see her selling. Maybe I missed it, but I was just like, huh. But even still, her and Ethan Page that's a tag team that I didn't even know that we needed.
And I believe now
they're fantastic.
Now they move on to they're being challenged by Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana at the next AAA show, I believe.
That's going to be fun.
But after that, you had Ava announce the Iron Survivor Challenge will be returning at NXT Deadline next month. And typically we would have a bunch of legends pitch who they think or they don't pitch. They pick somebody for the Iron Survivor Challenge. This time, Ava announced that it's just going to be one person announcing, or picking, I should say. And I'm like, who could possibly be that one person? Didn't even think it would be John Cena. And she announced that John Cena will be picking every participant of the Iron Survivor Challenge.
Now, do we know everything? Because it was recorded.
I have no idea. I've avoided spoilers. I really assume that it's going to be via video because I feel like if John Cena was actually there in person, we would have seen
heard
that.
About it.
Yeah,
that's true.
This is one of those spots that even though he's going to be
either.
on NXT next week, I feel like that's not part of his tour technically. To me, it's like him introducing that other video the other week or wishing Stu a happy birthday.
Stu.
No, the other video though.
Happy birthday, Stu.
He followed it up the night after to announce the tournament.
Oh yeah.
But later on, Tavia and the Heights spoke about the Iron Survivor Challenge, and Josh Briggs attacked him, leading to a pull-apart brawl, which then continued later on in the night. I don't know if John Cena is going to pick either of them for it, but I have to assume both of them will be part of it. Mm-hmm. How could they not, right? If they're pushing, though, they're the only two that they're pushing here.
If they are a part of it, I do not want to see them face off against each other in the first round, though.
It's one match.
Oh, yeah.
I will say, I do hope somebody that I was hoping that when they announced that we would get people from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and maybe some not from WWE, I thought it was going to be evenly split 4-4-4-4. We only got 2 non-WWE
surprises. Yeah.
We only got...
Did we even get an NXT?
We got Javon Evans.
Oh, yeah, Javon.
Because of that,
Yeah,
I really hope...
expecting more.
I really hope that John Cena picks Brooks Jensen to be in the Iron Survivor Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Just to have that little, like, tiny bit of a connection to be squared on this retirement tour. I feel like that's a shoo-in to have been, like, as part of, even though people be like, why is he part of this? This makes no sense. Like, as in, like, the actual tournament.
And he did tweet about it, I believe.
It would have just made so much sense. I really wish we could have gotten some sort of segment between the two of them before John Cena retired.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little segment, even. But after that...
Yeah, maybe...
No.
Yeah.
Maybe on Saturday night's main event, who knows?
Nah, who knows?
Yet Blake Monroe pick up the victory over Sol Ruca to retain the North American Championship. I liked the spot. They were both on the outside. They both hit that clothesline to one another. Normally we see that in the ring. So I appreciated that happening outside the ring. I wish they did not go outside as much as they did, though.
Okay.
That was, like, too much for me in this match. But I liked Sol Ruca. At one point, she's knocked down. She does a one-legged kip-up due to her bad knee. But
That was a cool spot.
Blake Monroe worked on that bad knee the whole match. She removed the knee brace. And she's got Sol Ruca locked in this crazy, like, pulled-back submission. And Zarya, like, she's toying with the idea of throwing in the towel. Sol Ruca's like, no. Don't do it. Zarya did it regardless. And then later on...
I didn't even see her saying don't do it.
And then later on, Sol Ruca was obviously... She's annoyed. And Zarya's like, I know you weren't going to tap out. And Sol was like, well, then why would you do that? She goes, because I know you weren't going to tap out. Why would you risk ruining your knee?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you risk Blake Monroe snapping your leg in half? You were just out with this injury. So Zarya is still looking as if they're like friends. I feel like it's going to eventually lead to that split. Maybe it's going to be Sol Ruca being that heel. I don't know.
I feel like with this entire thing, I really feel like we're going to have Zarya turn on Sol Ruca. I think that this entire thing with Zarya, I want to see, just like her theme, her Titantron or whatever, the video. When she first came in, she was just dominant. And I want to see Zarya dominate Sol Ruca. I want to see her just destroy that leg. That's exactly what I want to see. Then you keep Sol Ruca off TV a little bit, and then you have Zarya do something, and then Sol Ruca makes that big return save, and then you have Sol Ruca versus Zarya.
Well, we'll see.
That's what I would do.
You had Ricky Saints come out, immediately interrupted by Obafemi, which, by the way, I think that is also a huge miss. I don't know what they're planning with Obafemi. I think that's a huge miss that he was not part of the Last Time Is Now tournament.
I feel like Obafemi couldn't be a part of it, because if he's going to be a part of it, you have to have him win, no?
I don't know. I could see both sides where, like, yes, he should have been included, or no, he shouldn't have been included. Especially, I mean, you have this spot here. Obafemi said after his loss to Ricky Saints, he went home to train. And now he's a version of himself that Ricky Saints can't beat. And
which is great, because it explains exactly why he wasn't in that tournament.
Right, exactly.
He went home.
Yes. And it sets up a rematch between the two of them at Deadline. Trick Williams showed up, though. And he's like, it's not over until I win the title back. Then Miles Bourne comes out of nowhere, cracks Trick Williams over the back with a chair as payback for what happened the other week. And he said that he's going to be winning that Iron Survivor and seeing one of them at New Year's Evil. Ava was obviously annoyed at Miles Bourne for that. He's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, get hit with a chair by Trick Williams and not do anything back? So I like that aspect of it. I feel like Ricky Saints, I don't know. I don't, do we see Obafemi taking that title back at Deadline?
I'm going to say...
It's a hard decision to make.
Because, okay, so right now we have to think about the long term, right? So whoever wins this, if it's Obafemi, I think that Oba is going to go up to the main roster before Ricky Saints.
Also, by the way, the fact, before we spoke about the Iron Survivor Challenge where Tavion Heights and Josh Briggs are fighting as if they're already picked by John Cena, Miles Bourne is also in that same boat where he's doing stuff where nobody has been picked yet.
Exactly. And I mean, he came out there, he smacked Trick Williams right in the back and got right on that mic and putting his name right in that.
But I do think that all three of them, and if not all three of them, at least Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne will be in that Iron Survivor Challenge. Maybe we see Josh Briggs cost Tavion Heights. Maybe not. I would prefer not to see that. I would prefer for like Deadline to be it between them. So maybe they should also. He should also be in it.
The only thing I could see with this happening is I don't think we're going to have an outcome of Starks versus Oba. I think we'll have interference from Trick Williams, and then you'll have the interference take place, and then it's going to line up for like maybe a fatal 4-way for the championship, where Oba doesn't have to lose clean, and then maybe Oba gets the call up at Royal Rumble.
Anything is possible at this point. There's also,
because I feel like if Oba wins, that's not what happens to Ricky Saints then. And then if Ricky wins, well, I mean, you can't have Oba pick up a loss and then get called up. So my mentality is all that Obafemi within the next 5 months is getting called up to the main roster.
It's possible. It's very possible.
Yeah.
And then with Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne, just to tie them together, I guess, which I get it, this really has nothing to do with it. Ren Sinclair and Kendall Gray had a segment backstage where they were talking, and Charlie Dempsey apparently had not been returning her calls at all. He and a bunch of others invaded TNA the other week. He was supposed to be in Japan. There was the most random group of NXT people invading, costing Santana the championship. Or not necessarily costing him the championship, but leading to what cost him the championship. Very bizarre.
Yeah, I think that Ricky Saints is going to somehow leave as champion, whether it's by interference or something. But I think that the person that is going to defeat Ricky Saints, I would say that it's Miles Bourne. I think Miles Bourne is going to defeat Ricky Saints to become the new champion.
I don't know.
That's my go-to. But next up, you had Dark State pick up the victory over Javon Evans and Leon Slater to retain the tag team championship. This match was... So I've been very on Dark State, but this match was high energy.
I thought you were going to say on Javon Evans and Leon Slater. I was like, what?
No, Javon Evans and Leon Slater are incredible.
Yeah, the pairing,
so entertaining.
The pairing of them, I think, is amazing. It would have been nice to see them get the victory, and honestly, this match could have gone either way. But ultimately, in the end, you saw Javon Evans try to break up a pin. Dark State ends up moving. Accidentally.
Hold on. Before you even say that, I thought that spot was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was.
Phenomenal.
And it led to Javon accidentally hitting that frog splash on Leon Slater.
Exactly. That frog splash. I thought that was so smart, that ability, because I feel like the timing of it was perfect. It's so hard to time everything, especially when somebody's coming off of the top turnbuckle, and to pull them to the out of the way in that last moment while somebody's like still going against gravity coming down on top of you. But they nailed that timing perfectly, where, like you mentioned, you had the frog splash lead up into the Doomsday device. Yeah. Very good match by all four competitors. I mean, is this going to lead into Slater versus Evans? Or
is that a match that was on the
I would like to see them as like you mentioned, I would like to see them as tag team champions.
And that's not like to say where just because they lost this match, it's not saying like, oh, they're not going to get a rematch or they're not going to eventually become tag team champions or something like that.
Yeah.
People were like,
NXT,
God forbid TNA gets a WWE championship, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, brother, the Hardy Boys were NXT tag team champions. And that was another big thing when Matt Cardona, I feel like we saw it less with Matt Cardona, but it was very heavily mentioned when Dolph Ziggler showed up, where people were like, damn, TNA partnership, nobody cares about TNA, obviously he's Dolph Ziggler here, he's not Nick Nemeth. He should have been Nick Nemeth. Mm-hmm. What's Nick Nemeth's history with John Cena? The closest thing was Nikki.
I don't even know John Cena knows
the
Nick
closest thing was Nikki from the Spirit Squad.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
Technically, yes,
Nick
John
Nemeth.
Cena knows Nick Nemeth. We all heard that pipe bomb promo from him. Hi, Matt Cardona. What's up, Nick Nemeth? Great video that
did he say
WWE
Nick
edited
Nemeth,
together.
or did he say Nick Nemeth?
Mm-hmm.
Or did he say
No, he said
Dolph
Nick
Ziggler?
Nemeth. He said Claudio Castagnoli.
I forgot, yeah.
So,
well, yeah. I mean, are we going to see
we're
Claudio?
not seeing
No.
Claudio.
But I think I forgot.
Goldust?
Well, since you brought it up, no. Sheamus.
Oh
doing the
yes,
bar.
yes. Sheamus did. He did the. I'm gonna say the twist. It's
Claudio.
What is it called? The swing, the giant swing, and then he did the Claudio.
He did the
taunt.
swing, and
that was awesome too.
yeah, then he did the Claudio taunt. So there was your three. There was your Claudio inclusion, because during that match he did the swing and then he did the bar.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Claudio taunt. I popped for that. But main event of the evening: JC Jane picked up the victory over Tatum Paxley to become your new women's champion. I thought that this match was a lot of fun.
So
I know that a lot of people were conflicted on the outcome.
I mean, I can't. So it would have been a good first defense for Tatum Paxley. There was so much that went into this match. I liked her hitting that rolling fisherman neck breaker from the middle rope, which was then followed up with a sit down fisherman gimmick. I don't even know what to call it. But Izzy Dame sends a chair into the ring. Tatum Paxley refuses to cheat. She refused the chair. After the rolling encore that JC hit, a piece of me thought like JC had it won right there and then. Mm-hmm. Laney Reed tried to take the title. Izzy Dame knocked the hell out of her. She ends up tossing that title to Tatum while Fallon Henley was distracting the referee. Tatum could have used the championship, but like the chair, she's not cheating. She doesn't want to cheat.
Exactly, but that cost her. But I thought that hit, that kick was huge.
From Izzy.
That was awesome.
Wait, are you talking about the kick to Laney? Or are you talking about the kick to Tatum Paxley?
Oh, yeah, no, I jumped ahead to Tatum.
So JC gets the championship. The referee sees her. Tatum Paxley rolls her up for a pin. She gets sent to the outside. When she goes to get back in, the Culling stepped in her way and Izzy Dame knocked her head off.
That kick, yeah, that's how you got into that area. But that kick from Dame, just huge. And you knew that was, I guess you had to assume that, well, no, hold on. Hold on. Let me finish. Something was brewing because when she won the title, when Tatum Paxley won the title, you had that moment of Izzy Dame where it looked like she was about to hit her with the championship. So you had seeds slightly planted if you remembered that she maybe was going to hit her with the championship.
Also, though,
so I did.
Also, Izzy Dame has been trying to tell Tatum Paxley how to run her championship reign, and Tatum Paxley's like, yes, but.
Mm-hmm.
So
awesome.
JC Jane ends up hitting another rolling encore, gets the victory. I don't know where this leads to.
That rolling encore, JC Jane is nailing that finish. That rolling encore is just incredible.
I don't know. I mean, out of Zarya and Fallon Henley for the Speed Championship, I have to assume Fallon Henley's getting that, which I can only then assume. But I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Lainey Reed beat Kendall Gray for the championship, the Evolve title. She just got that title. So I don't know.
Yeah, you can't have a quick.
I don't know.
You can't really. I
don't know where that leads.
I don't know. I can't see that they have another quick turnaround because Tatum. This was her second title defense, I believe.
Yeah,
right.
I believe so.
Yeah, second title defense within the last month. So I don't know if we would have such a quick turnaround.
And she's now the shortest reigning women's champion, I believe. But I'm still very happy that Tatum Paxley is a champion, was a champion.
I agree. And I think that with her gimmick, her in-ring ability, her connection to the crowd, I think we're going to see her as champion again.
I hope so.
Just maybe not right now, but she got everybody's attention.
Yeah. So that's NXT Gold Rush. Moving over to SmackDown. It opened up with the Vision, where Paul Heyman, I think, did a great job at hyping up the War Games match as well as the Vision. Logan Paul went to talk and got cut off immediately by the Usos. Paul Heyman brought up how there's more of them than there are the Usos. Jimmy said they didn't show up alone. Cody's music hit. Cody's not there. They then cut outside to Cody's bus. Drew McIntyre's walking off his bus. Cody's busted open, bloodied up. Nick Aldis is not happy about that. Paul Heyman's like, he's outside. He's not in the building. And I asked him to leave. I'll put a pin in that. You had the first matchup. Ilya Dragunov picked up the victory over JD McDonough to retain the championship. JD was there for Finn Balor. Finn Balor had the last time is now tournament match, so why not have JD McDonough there to accept that as well? And like the other US Open challenges, this was another good match. I'll say that every single time, I think. I like JD reversing the Constantine special with the Spanish Fly. Eventually, Dragunov hit the H-bomb after a power bomb and got the victory there. This was a very well done match, and I mean, JD McDonough's had quite the week there. I was going to say there, also went to go say here. Veer came out. But backstage, Tama Tonga told Ilya Dragunov that it's coming. And then Ciampa told him not to worry about it because he's taken the title from him. I'll put a pin in Ciampa. You had Carmelo Hayes pick up the victory over Bronson Reed via countout to advance. Carmelo Hayes controlled a lot of this match. It was nice to see a match against Bronson Reed where he actually got a lot of stuff in. Braun Breaker and Logan Paul showed up. Bronson Reed was able to take over there. We also saw Braun Breaker distract the referee while Logan Paul tripped up Carmelo Hayes. Melo had a comeback. He moved out of the way of a tsunami. He took out the Vision. He hit that diving DDT. And then there was a time where Carmelo Hayes was out of it, and it looked like Braun Breaker was going to spear him right through the barricade. The Usos showed up. And they brawled with Logan Paul. They brawled with Braun Breaker. Paul Heyman ends up distracting the referee. Cody Rhodes shows up. He pushes Bronson Reed into the ring post, hits the crossroads on Bronson Reed, gets Carmelo Hayes back into the ring. 10 count. I thought that was great. That's a great way. I was hoping that we would see Carmelo Hayes advance in that tournament. I did not think we would with Bronson Reed as an opponent. And then Cody yelled about the War Games team afterwards. He said that Paul Heyman builds them up and he'll beat them. I liked that aspect of that Cody Rhodes promo. You had DIY pick up the victory over Fraxium. This match started out quite chaotic, which they got under control. The roll through from Nathan Fraser when he missed the Phoenix Splash I thought was really nice. But Fraser ran right into a shatter machine after that. Eventually, Candice LeRae ends up unmasking Axiom. And that allowed for Johnny Gargano to roll him up. They get the victory there. Chelsea Green, by the way, was supposed to have a championship celebration. She canceled that. We had a promo from Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Fenix, and Motor City Machine Guns. They're doing a traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match next week against the MFTs and Solo Sikoa. We had Penta move on and pick up the victory over Finn Balor in that last time is now tournament. I think it was interesting that JD McDonough didn't come out ringside for Finn Balor here. This was a lot of good back and forth. Some good reversals. Penta moved out of the way of the coup de grace. And he finally, after a few attempts, finally hit the Penta driver. Finn Balor kicked out of that. And then Penta was able to hit the Mexican Destroyer and get the victory there. Sheamus is unfortunately out with a shoulder injury. So we're going to find out who's replacing him next week. I feel like, how is it not going to be Joe Hendry? Right? Surely. We also had earlier in the night a segment where Alexa Bliss was talking to Charlotte Flair. She basically set up a meeting between Charlotte and Rhea Ripley so they could talk it out, get on the same page. They did that. They shook hands. They're on War Games. To close out SmackDown, we had the Women's War Games competitors come out. We knew Rio. We knew Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Rhea Ripley spoke about what happened at Madison Square Garden. She put over Io, Alexa, and Charlotte as people she can trust in this match. And then she brought out the fifth member, that being AJ Lee. Then the heels jumped those four from behind. AJ Lee ran down. Becky Lynch showed up, bodied her. Rhea Ripley had a small comeback, but the heels took over. I'm looking forward to this women's match more than the men's match, like I said before. I would like to see it main event. I don't think it has a chance in hell to do so, though. But that is SmackDown. I'm going to take a quick little break, and I'll be right back here on Markin Out.
Hey, Markin Out. It's the Long Island IZ Zack Ryder. Take care. Spike your hair. Woo, woo, woo. You know it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Markin Out, episode 772. Moving back to AEW Blood and Guts from last week, it kicked off with Megan Bayne, Marina Shafir, the Triangle of Madness, Mercedes Moné picking up the victory over Jamie Hayter, Willow Nightingale, Harley Cameron, Chris Statlander, Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa. Super bloody. Some of the spots were crazy, but a lot of this match just felt choreographed. It just felt like they were waiting to do their spots, like a conveyor belt pizza going through that oven. You know it's going to be the same exact thing every single time. They're just waiting for that specific moment. In the end, the Triangle of Madness had Toni Storm, while Marina Shafir had Mina Shirakawa, and Mercedes kept whipping her with the championship until Toni Storm gave up. Yet Hangman picked up the victory over Powerhouse Hobbs in a Falls Count Anywhere match. I thought it had a goofy ending. The production case that they used looked like a cardboard box when it flew up into the air. The Ops beat Hangman down afterwards. Samoa Joe had the cage lowered. Eddie Kingston and Hook ran down to make the save, which sets up Full Gear. You had Ricky Steamboat. I get that they were in North Carolina. You didn't need this segment at all. FTR interrupted the segment. I can't believe I would say this about a segment with FTR, because I'm a huge FTR fan. This segment was awful. It was truly, truly awful. Stokely using Macho Man for cheap heat, I thought was cringe. They attacked him being Ricky Steamboat. Brodito ran down to make the save. No Ric Flair. Flair was advertised. He apparently was injured, so he wasn't on TV. The main event saw Darby Allin, Roderick Strong, and the conglomeration pick up the victory over the Death Riders. Blood and guts. I liked Jon Moxley using the broken weapons from the women's match, but most of this was just so boring. Gabe Kidd showed up to attack Darby. He wasn't mentioned again. He wasn't mentioned on Dynamite this week. Pac sent Darby off the top of the entrance through a flaming table. Just so dumb. But in the end, Kyle O'Reilly got that big win over Jon Moxley and made him tap out. On AEW Collision, you had the Death Riders pick up the victory over Jay Lethal, Tommy Billington, and Adam Priest. They just lost Blood and Guts. This win does nothing for them. Mox did commentary again. That was awful. The whole night, it was the worst. The match itself, I thought, was entertaining. But they have a combined 0 wins in 2025. If you add 2024 into the mix, they have 1 win because of Jay Lethal. It's ridiculous. That's why it does nothing for the Death Riders here. You had Mark Briscoe pick up the victory over Mark Davis. The last person Mark Davis beat was Mark Briscoe back in March. But this match went way too long for a Mark Davis match. And then later on, Kyle Fletcher beat Scorpio Sky to retain the TNT Championship. I don't know why Scorpio Sky got this match. He deserves more. And it's been 3 months since we've seen Scorpio Sky have a match. But it's crazy that this went 15 minutes. The longest match on that episode of Collision. He doesn't win. He's never on TV. Mark Davis ran down. After the match, he attacked him. Mark Briscoe ran down to make the save. You had Ty Mello pick up the victory over Ty Valkyrie. These open challenges would be more exciting if the group was exciting to watch. This was a nothing match. Marina Shafir ran down. She choked Ty Mello afterwards. Tony Storm made the save. We see what the finals are going to be. You had Rio and Alex Windsor pick up the victory over Maya World and High-End. One could only assume this was the match because of the match with TJ. Unlike TJ, though, Alex Windsor and Rio only teamed once. They surprisingly beat Emi Sakura and Mercedes Moné, which I think establishes them more as a team than this did. But at least they're back on TV. First time in 2 months. And because they've been off TV for that long, I think they should have had a video to remind people of them as a team together. I think Windsor and Rio came out of this looking weaker. It does not set up for what I'm about to speak about. I'll put a pin in that. You had Bandito, Juice Robinson, and Jet Speed in the main event pick up the victory over FTR, Sammy Guevara, and Roosh. Part of me feels like I'm missing a step as to why this match took place. I didn't get it. Moving over to AEW Dynamite, we had Bobby Lashley pick up the victory over Ricochet to get the #1 spot in the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal. I'm so checked out of this feud. I'm done with it. And to make it worse, Ricochet for what, 10 minutes cut a promo? Where he just rambled while the match was going? Get out of here. And then later on, Shelton Benjamin picked up the victory over Speedball. He gets the number 2 spot. Shelton had the match won. The referee stopped counting to pretend that Speedball's shoulder was up. MVP randomly runs off commentary, gets in the ring. And then Shelton Benjamin won regardless. What was that spot? What happened there? You had the Young Bucks, Josh Alexander, pick up the victory over Skyflight. Like the match on Collision, this match just made no sense. And how a match like this can go as long as it did on Collision and on Dynamite, it just makes Kyle Fletcher, it just makes Josh Alexander, it just makes the Young Bucks look bad. They don't win matches. They're nobodies on TV in 2025. Why are they taking you to your limits? After the match, Don Callis asked the Young Bucks for their answer on whether or not they're going to join the Don Callis family. Kenny Omega returned, took out the B team, maybe the C team members of the Don Callis family. The Bucks tried to stop Kenny, and then Josh Alexander locked him in an ankle lock. Don Callis made him let it go. And then he told the Young Bucks, if you're joining, hit him with the BTE trigger. And they teased it. The Jurassic Express ran down. They all ran off. You had the Death Riders pick up the victory over Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy, following Blood and Guts by having them all brawl outside the ring for most of the match just made no sense to me. The Death Riders got involved to distract Orange Cassidy. And then before he could win, Jon Moxley ends up choking him out. Kyle O'Reilly ran down afterwards. He locked Jon Moxley in an ankle lock. The Death Riders tried all their might to get him off of Jon Moxley and just couldn't. And it sets up a no-holds-barred match at Full Gear. They just had a basic no-holds-barred match with Blood and Guts. Tony Storm, Mina Shirakawa, picks up the victory over Alex Windsor and Rio to advance to the tournament. Windsor and Rio, I think, desperately could have used more matches on TV together, other than the squash match with Hyan and Maya. And I think AEW really screwed them big time. And it makes them look even worse, given that they didn't go through Blood and Guts. And of course, the referee couldn't care less about the officiating. Later on, Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir pick up the victory over Ty J to advance. I like that this started with Marina Shafir and Ty Mello doing the judo stuff back and forth, but then all four of them just took it to the outside. And it's just so unnecessary. And from there, it turned into what Tay J's squash match looked like. Anna Jay and Megan Bayne end up brawling. Anna locks her in a submission. She gets to the corner. Marina Shafir tags herself in, chokes Anna Jay out. I'm glad that they moved on. I'm not happy that the finals look to be Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm taking the titles. I think the Sisters of Sin should be the first champions. You had Hangman pick up the victory over Shibata. Big whoop. They brawled outside the ring before and during. Hangman just had a Falls Count Anywhere match last week. This was supposed to be a normal match. You had Okada pick up the victory over Mascara Dorada. A double Jeopardy match. So the Don Callis family now get a Trios title shot for the CMLL Trios Championships. Okada, 9 out of 10 times you're watching him on TV, he's just boring. I'm very rarely entertained by him these days. Main event saw Mercedes Moné pick up the victory over Red Velvet to officially become the ROH TV champion. Call me crazy, but a match like this, would you not want this to be on a Ring of Honor show? A Ring of Honor pay-per-view? Chris Statlander was on commentary. She was struggling big time to get whatever she was trying to say out. Bryan Danielson tried his best to try to get sound bites, but not happening. Mercedes at one point shoved Red Velvet into Chris Statlander. She got up on the apron. Red Velvet tried the Eddie Guerrero gimmick. They obviously made it look like Red Velvet had a chance in this match, but you knew, going into this, you knew that Mercedes was winning. That lung blower that she used from the middle rope to end the match, I thought was insane. That was awesome. That was the best part of Dynamite. And then Mercedes celebrated on the commentary table, jumped off onto Chris Statlander, locked her in the bank statement. I'm glad that the women got to close that episode of TV. It was technically a collision and not a 3-hour Dynamite. The women were horribly booked. I don't see how it's that difficult to book women and book them properly. More needs to be done in that division big time. And the women in the locker room should be speaking out, complaining about it. Because they're not getting what they deserve. But we have AEW Full Gear this weekend taking place in Newark, New Jersey. The Rock, Prudential Center. I'm sure there might be more matches added for those trios titles. You have El Sky Team taking on the Don Callis family. Hopefully El Sky Team retain those titles. I don't need to see the Don Callis family with more titles. Okada specifically. I feel like that'll blow up Okada and Takeshita together. A $200,000 four-way match. Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, Bang Bang Gang, Big Bill, Brian Keith, the Outrunners. I'm going to say not the Acclaimed win. You have Boom and Doom taking on RPG Vice. Boom and Doom. Constantly, some of the best things that we get in AEW are from Big Boom AJ. You have, for the AEW World Women's Championship, Chris Statlander defending the title against Mercedes Moné. I'm going to say it's a rare victory for Chris Statlander here. Or a rare loss, I should say, for Mercedes. Steel cage match, AEW Championship. Hangman versus Samoa Joe, Hangman. AEW Tag Team titles on the line. Brodito versus FTR, Brodito. $1 million trios match. Why? Kenny Omega, Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander. Omega and Jurassic Express. You have the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal for the National Championship. Tony Khan went on the record to make sure he was 100% meaning that the AEW will not have the NWA's lineage. Kind of made it sound like the NWA wrestlers are stupid for thinking that. No DQ match for the TNT Championship. If Mark Briscoe loses, he's joining the Don Callis family. I'm going to say hopefully Mark Briscoe. Darby Allin versus Pac. Four-way match. The winners get to pick a stipulation for the semifinals of the tag team tournament. Why are we doing stipulations in a tournament for new titles? You have Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale versus the Sisters of Sin. Timeless Love Bombs, Marina Shafir, Megan Bayne. I am going to say Sisters of Sin. I don't know. That's a hard one to pick. I'm going to pick them. No holds barred match. Jon Moxley, Kyle O'Reilly. Jon Moxley loses. Kyle O'Reilly wins. I find that hard to believe, but I'm going to say Kyle O'Reilly. So that's AEW Full Gear. Hey, Brandon, got any shout outs?
Why did the chicken cross the road to listen to Brandon's shout-outs? Waka waka.
The first shout-out goes to Bowling for Soup. I saw them at Epcot on Friday night, and it was awesome. You a Bowling for Soup fan, or what?
I mean, I just know the two songs, the 1985 and the one other song.
Girl All the Bad Guys Want. You have to know High School
Those
Never
are the
Ends.
only ones that I know. I would have to hear it.
Almost. But yeah, this
Would have to
was
hear
a
it.
band that I never thought I would get to see. So I went to all three of the shows.
Didn't you see them a few times?
No, I never seen Bowling for Soup. And I went to all three
I feel
of
like
those
they're always
shows.
playing there, too.
I was under the impression that I would maybe see Alexa Bliss at this show because I know she's a huge, her favorite band is Bowling for Soup. She had to be on SmackDown. So,
Lame.
but yeah, so I went to all three of those shows and getting to hear those songs that you mentioned already, I thought was just awesome. They did the theme song to Phineas and Ferb, so all the Disney marks were going crazy for it. I wish they did almost. Maybe they can't because of the lyrics and stuff. I thought maybe they would do Alexa Bliss, but again, she wasn't there. I thought that would have been cool. They also just put out a cover of Taylor Swift's Actually Romantic, and I was like, maybe they'll perform this, but they didn't. So that was unfortunate, but this was such a great concert, and it is my nephew's first concert, so I could say that.
That's
Since
cool.
he was born, him and my niece have listened to the Bowling for Sleep album, which is like a toddler, a lullaby version of Bowling for Soup. And
That's
my
fun.
niece knows all those words, so it was cool. And while the concert was going on, I guess she wasn't really fully into it. It was super loud. But she was singing all the words under her breath. She knows all the lyrics, so I shouldn't say all the lyrics, but because some of those songs she was singing, I was like, well, I know that's not the lyric, but it's a good thing she doesn't know the lyric. Mm-hmm. My next shout out goes to the Beach Boys and John Stamos. They also performed at Epcot, and I saw them on Sunday there.
Uncle Joey.
Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse.
I planned on going to all three of those shows at Epcot, but that was the craziest line I've ever seen for a concert there. Honestly, it might even be a crazier line than some of the rides at Disney World. Wow. When I saw Yellow Card, they said that they broke the attendance records there, which to me,
that's cool.
I would have never in a million years thought Yellow Card would have been a band to break an attendance record there. Their line went to Germany for Yellow Card. The Beach Boys, their line went to Norway. There were rumors that their line even went to Mexico for the day afterwards. That's unheard of. Joey Fatone's not pulling that. Boys to Men are not pulling that. That is insane. For you to go see that concert and be on that line from Norway, you have to go to China. You have to go over a bridge to Germany, Italy, and then finally you're at the American Adventure. Absolutely insane. I would say I was lucky enough to get into that 5:30 show. I wish I got into the 8 p.m. too, because Stamos sang Forever at the 8 p.m. shows. But like I said a few weeks ago, the Beach Boys are my favorite band. Regardless of how they sound, I enjoyed seeing them live. It's been 11 years since I've seen them, so I was happy with that concert. My last shout out goes to Freakier Friday, which it's now out on Disney Plus. I watched it on my flight home, and I thought it was a really well done sequel. I don't think anything felt forced, even though it was the same basic concept from the original film. I think it's too bad that it came out over the summer and not now, because I think Lindsay Lohan would have been a great person to host SNL to promote this, because it's been years since she's hosted. I feel like you could have even had Jamie Lee Curtis make a cameo. But this was an enjoyable sequel. I assume you didn't watch it, right?
No.
No interest? Did you watch the original?
No
Or
interest.
I shouldn't say the original, but did you see the original that this was based on?
I think I probably caught it on TV. I probably caught it on TV, but no
So
interest.
I would say 100% check that out. But those are my shout-outs. Now it's time for our right. Our mark out moment of the week. I think right off the bat we have to say Zack Ryder's return to WWE television.
Yes, Zack Ryder's return to TV. I mean, his Topps figure
Cards.
trading card as well. Yeah. His Topps trading card. I ended up getting one of those. I also got the John Cena one.
Also,
too.
I guess we could say Dolph Ziggler returning to WWE television as well.
Yeah, marked out for those.
I know,
marked out for everything that took place. I mean, I marked out so much that I actually subscribed to Netflix.
Oh,
finally.
yeah, look at that.
Yeah, what a mark.
At an NXT live event, Grayson Waller in Chicago came out to CM Punk's theme song. That was awesome.
Oh, dude. Heavily marked out for that one. Heavily marked out for that. That was just incredible.
I definitely marked out seeing the Beach Boys, John Stamos, Bowling for Soup at Epcot, so close.
I'm sure.
Last week, somebody posted a match on Instagram between the Young Dragons and 3 Count from WWE in 2001. I had no idea that match took place, and I think it was like, to me, that's pretty crazy to have seen.
Yeah.
Because I think they're two of the most underrated teams, and I really wish that they would have been used together on TV. Because literally, two of the best ladder matches in WCW history, even wrestling history, involved them.
Yeah, that's true. I marked out for that. I marked out for some old clips that I saw of like Bam Bam Bigelow wrestling and Bruiser Brody from Japan. I usually mark out for clips like that. Yeah, big mark out moments for those. And yeah, like you said, I feel like there was just a lot to mark out for this week.
Yeah. It would have been nice to see Hillary Duff, by the way. Kind of marked out that she announced a tour-ish, and then 400,000+ people waited on that queue to get tickets.
And then marked out even more for her being such a Joe Henry.
No, that wasn't even. Oh, I mean, that was not her tweet, but it was pretty funny that it said, "Oh, Hillary Duff was looking to be doing stuff in London, Paris, and Tokyo." So, but those are the mark out moments of the week, and that is episode 772. Thank you so much for checking us out. You could follow us on Twitter at Markin Out, at BTTG161 on all platforms. Chris Sweendog, Team Sweeney85, David PTDBT, Facebook.com/MarkinOut, YouTube and Instagram MarkinOut11, ProWrestlingTees.com/MarkinOut. Follow us on TikTok at Markin Out. You could rate, review, subscribe over on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, iHeartRadio. You can listen on YouTube, markinout.com. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Have a fantastic week.